Give me a second.
Time is relative, folks. Time is relative.
Yes. So, hey, cheers to everybody in the chat.
They're a division rival. I don't care how many wins they get. Screw them.
That wasn't the take I was expecting to hear.
I want to gush over watching live Chris Tanev.
I think that we completely underestimate the skill it takes to play defense.
One highlight or several highlights does not a Calder trophy make.
I'm stepping in here. I'm going to be the crotchety old man here. They need to learn patience. They need to understand the tension and everything and the drama.
How dare! Look at this! How is McDavid not getting a penalty?
You guys need to calm down with this, okay? You guys need to calm down with it.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the Shifts in Pucks news pack for the... I put it on the wrong Twitter stream. That's why. So we put welcome to the Shifts and Pucks news pack for the... My apologies. Sorry about that. Tuesday, March 8th. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter at Shifts and Pucks, Facebook.com Shifts and Pucks, YouTube.com Shifts and Pucks. You can subscribe wherever you get your audio, as well on the Eddie Area 51 Sports Network, as we are live as well. And as I mentioned, we are live. And we got, of course, we're going to recap the Calgary Flames action today or yesterday as they won a big win over the as they had a big win over the Minnesota Wild. And of course, we're also live on Twitter, as mentioned as well. Sorry, had a little bit of a technical issue there. And so we're live, and so we'll talk about the Flames shootout win over the Minnesota Wild. We'll get into the Wild. Have a big game tonight against the Winnipeg Jets, and the Vancouver Canucks are in action tonight against the Anaheim Ducks. But let's start with the Flames, and let's start. Not much to talk about in terms of offense. 1-0 shootout win. Jacob Markstrom was unbelievable, making 42 saves in the game. Controversial non-call, Jared Spurgeon in overtime. It was ruled offside. I just personally think it's a very tough call either way. If you're an Oilers fan, you have to wonder what the difference. I might be wondering what the difference is between what Jared Spurgeon did and Cale Makar did last year in terms of possession. I've seen that called either way. I mean, I think that some are making the argument that Spurgeon skated backwards, but what is possession, I guess? Is it that you literally have to have the puck on your stick because Cale Makar didn't? And we've seen that in other ways too. It just feels to me when we go to the review, I don't have a problem with review. I have a problem with the fact that there's not consistency. So what one review deems as a kicking motion, another person does not. What one deems offside is deemed as not. It doesn't feel consistent, and I think that that's part of the problem. So if I was a Minnesota Wild fan today, I would be a little frustrated that wasn't called a goal. If I'm for the Calgary Flames perspective, it's a big win. And you got a big goaltending performance from Jacob Markstrom. You finally got a break, which you haven't had many breaks in terms of this year in overtime in these 1-goal games. You're getting some clutch goals from Tyler Toffoli. He got the shootout winner, and you got to give Nazem Kadri some credit. He got a big, the Wild score the shootout first. And then you had Kadri had to tie it, and he did. And so, give Kadri some credit for getting that shootout goal. And so here it's just going through that here. It was, you got the goal from Frederick Gaudreau, and then Kadri, and then Toffoli scored after Markstrom stops Boldy. Look, it doesn't solve any of the current issues with the Calgary Flames in terms of, are they better? They won. A win is a win is a win is a win. But next 5 games for the Jets and the next 5 games for the Flames are very interesting at this particular point in time. And whether you think the Flames have a chance or not, here are the Jets' next 5 games: Wild, Panthers, Lightning, Bruins, Predators. Flames next 5: Ducks, Senators, Coyotes, Golden Knights, and Stars. So if they're going to make some hay, this is the time that they're going to do it. And the reality really is, I think you're more focused on the Jets than you are Colorado, in terms of just because Colorado has 3 games in hand. But so we'll have to see what happens in terms of that, where this goes. The Flames play Friday against Anaheim. We know that they have not played well against the lower echelon teams, but now is the time that they're going to have to do it. It's just plain and simple. This team is going to have to turn a corner. And, I got to tell you, I think Mackenzie Weegar has turned a corner. He is playing some really good hockey right now in terms of defensively. I think Rasmus Anderson and him are a good fit. Troy Stetcher again, again, another solid start, played 11 minutes, solid. Nick Ritchie took a couple of bad penalties, but I think you're getting a bit of a wild card with Nick Ritchie. Jacob Pelche was on the ice in overtime. Saw a lot of Backlund. Didn't see a lot of Kadri and Huberdeau in overtime, but just take the win, put it there. We'll see what happens. But the Wild do play the Jets tonight. Well, let's touch on that one first because of the implications. The Ducks and the Canucks are it's not really a playoff scenario game, but we will touch on that game in a moment here. But of course, the Wild back-to-back, and 10 games, 10 goals for the Minnesota Wild, by the way. They continue to crush it in terms of that. And looks like it will be Marc-Andre Fleury in goal for the Wild tonight, and it probably will go with the same lineup they did last night. The Jets need to go back with Connor Hellebuck. Logan Stanley is in the lineup as well. And, they're getting some good contributions. Nino Niederreiter for the Jets has been a good acquisition so far. He's going to play with Mark Scheifele and Kyle Connor. Need more from Nikolai Ehlers. He's been struggling, but he's going to be on a line of Pierre-Luc Dubois and Blake Wheeler. And then you got Adam Lowry, Morgan Barron, and another Jets acquisition, Vladislav Nemestikov, that third line. Sam Gagne, Carson Coleman are scratched. But so as we look at the standing here in terms of what is going on, why this is important, really for the Jets, for both, but for everyone involved. For the Wild, they are continuing to try to climb the standings. They are 2 points behind Dallas and 3 points ahead of Colorado in second in the Central. And then you've got Winnipeg, of course, holding down that second wild card spot at 75 points. And this is their game in hand on the Flames. So, and then you get the Predators. Don't discount the Predators, folks. They have 3 games in hand on the Jets, 4 games in hand on the Flames, and they are 6 points behind Winnipeg. So, not saying that the math looks good for Nashville, but if I'm a Jets fan, excuse me, if I'm a Jets fan, I'm really concerned. So, and you never know, the Preds could sneak in as well. So, that's that. Let's focus on the Canucks. They are playing the Ducks tonight. And of course, in terms of playoff implications, not much to talk about. In terms of what's going on with the team, Guillaume Brisebois is a 2-year contract yesterday afternoon with the Canucks. And so part of that 2015 draft for the Canucks. and he's come in and has done his job. He's been a good soldier for this team, in whether it be in Abbotsford and when he's needed in Vancouver. And of course, he's a third round pick, 25 years old, 1.9 games this year. Lots of injuries now on the blue line for the Canucks. You got Ethan Bear out. You got Oliver Ekman-Larsson out. And he's contributing. And that's all that you can ask. So the Canucks, trying to get their first 3-game win streak since December tonight against Anaheim. And looking at the lines for the Canucks, looks like it's going to be Pedersen, Kuzmenko, Beauvillier. This is according to Brendan Batchelor, by the way. JT Miller, Phil Giuseppe, who's, I think, Tockett's really starting to find with him. Brock Besser, Neil Zaman, Dakota Joshua, Connor Garland, Sheldon Dries with the Vitaly Kravtsov and Vasily Podkolzin. And then you got Noah Juleson with Quinn Hughes, the as aforementioned Guillaume Brisebois with Tyler Myers, Kyle Burrows with Christian Wolanin, and Thatcher Demko starting in goal for the Canucks. And of course, you also have other injuries. Philip Moronic, you've got Travis Dermott as well out. For the Ducks, you've got that line of Mason McTavish, Max Jones, Troy Terry, Trevor Zegras with Ryan Strome and Brock McGinn, Isaac Ludestrom, Frank Vetrano and Jacob Silverberg, Derek Grant, Max Comtois, Sam Carron. On defense, Cam Fowler with Scott Harrington, Kevin Shattenkirk. Intriguing that he didn't get a lot of trade deadline consideration, a veteran depth defenseman. And Simon Benoit, and you had Colton White with Nathan Bulio, and Lucas Dostal will get the call in goal. John Gibson played last night. The Ducks are one of the second worst team in the NHL in allowing goals in the first period. The Canucks are starting to score, so it could be a good night for Vancouver in that case. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. Dig into that in the podcast tomorrow, as everyone, we will do our regular Canucks Focus podcast tomorrow night there. And the other game that's tonight in the NHL is the Blackhawks and the Red Wings. And of course, the Red Wings are kind of falling away on the wayside here. They're 8 points behind Pittsburgh now. And of course, the Blackhawks are in the Connor Bedard sweepstakes. But Alex Stalock will get the call for Chicago, and you've got Ville Husso getting the call for Detroit. In terms of injury news and suspension news, Tony DeAngelo. I'm not sure if you saw what he did last night, but he is suspended for 2 games for spearing Corey Perry. And you can see the play yourself. Lightning players were not happy, but with that, very late in the third period, he had a major penalty, game misconduct, $54,000 fine, which goes to the Players Emergency Fund. And he'll be suspended 2 games. And just not a good look for Tony DeAngelo, who has spent a career in the National Hockey League not giving good looks. And when you make Corey Perry a hero in a story, you've done something wrong. So that's that. Other injury news, the Ottawa Senators, who are trying to fight their way back into the playoffs here, and they're playing Vancouver and Calgary this weekend. They're out west. Cam Talbot out 3 weeks with a lower body injury. He's been injured on and off this year, but he's injured again. He did not dress on Monday when the Senators lost 5-0 to Chicago. DJ Smith said that they're telling me 3 weeks, so it is, as he said, it is what it is, and they will keep grinding. In terms of other injury news, and Victor Hedman return to Lightning practice today, and some defensemen coming back. He's still day-to-day. He was hurt on Sunday after Carolina's 6-0 victory over the Lightning. But he's still day-to-day, but he's back at practice today. John Carlson practiced with the Capitals with a no-contact injury. He hasn't played since December 23rd. He got struck in the head with a slap shot. Peter Laviette says this is an off-in-the-distance thing, and Carlson is scheduled to see a doctor again in the next few days to assess where he is at. Washington's still kind of in that playoff part, but they did a lot of selling at the deadline. Ryan Legan, no contact jersey for Wednesday. He hasn't played since the 6-3 loss to Washington February 25th when he was checked into the boards with TJ Oshie. He's day-to-day with an upper body injury. He probably will miss a game against the Canadiens on Thursday. But Keandre Miller will return against the Canadiens from a 3-game injury from unsportsmanlike conduct, which he spit at Drew Doughty. He was paired with Jacob Trouba. So that's the NHL story. Let's go to the WHL. There was a really significant game that happened last night in Seattle, and that was the Kamloops Blazers and the Seattle Thunderbird. The Blazers ended the 13-game win streak of the Thunderbirds. So, but the other significant injury news, though, was yesterday, and by the way, it was a 3-2 win in overtime. Logan Stankoven scored, but Logan Stankoven also got injured, and so we'll see how long he is out. That's going to be the interesting question. Are they going to rest him until the playoffs? Are they going to have him back? Will he be back? All of those sort of things. But Logan Stankoven is injured, and was a shootout win for the Blazers. And he, as far as that, no word. John Keane noted it's not believed to be serious. It's upper body day-to-day. But we'll see. I'm going to be curious what happens with Logan Stankoven and the Kamloops Blazers and how they approach that, because they will definitely need and want, obviously, one of the best players in the WHL, Logan Stankoven, in the playoffs, especially when you're hosting the Memorial Cup. So how they handle that will be interesting. And in terms of games tonight in the WHL, you have 6 games tonight going on. As you've got the Medicine Hat Tigers taking on the Brandon Wheat Kings. The Edmonton Oil Kings take on the Regina Pats. The Saskatoon Blades, who are absolutely rolling right now, 10-game non-regulation loss. They take on the Swift Current Broncos. You got the Lethbridge Hurricanes taking on the Red Deer Rebels. And the Blazers are back in action tonight against the Everett Silvertips. And the Prince George Cougars are off to Kelowna to take on the Rockets. And in the AHL, a couple of games last night. The Wranglers were involved in a victory last night. And they come away with a win yesterday. 5-2 over Colorado at home. And so the Wranglers continue to play very well. Of course, in terms of goals, they got goals from Clark Bishop, Josh Brook, Kevin Rooney, his 4th, Connor Zeri, and Adam Klapka. They jumped out to a 5-0 lead before Colorado got a couple goals from Nate Klurbin and Alex Boussage. And another good night of goaltending from Justin, but this time not from Dustin Wolf. 34 saves for Oscar Dansk. Kevin Rooney, a goal and an assist for the Wranglers. As far as the Abbotsford Canucks go, they also played last night, and they were at home, and they lost 4-3 to the Manitoba Moose. By the way, Colorado and Calgary play again tonight at the Saddle Dome. But as far as the Canucks go, they do get up to a 2-0 lead early in the first. Quinn Schmiemann gets his 2nd, Vincent Arsenault his 6th, before the Moose tied it from Jeff Mallett and Daniel Torgerson. And then Alex Lamage gets his 14th late in the second, 15 seconds to go to make it 3-2. Kyle Rao ties it for the Canucks, but Jeff Mallett gets his 2nd of the game at a minute and 42 seconds later to get the win for the Manitoba Moose. So that is where that is at as well. And so as we look at the standings, Here, the Wranglers continue to increase their lead here in the Pacific. They're 39-15-3 with 15 games to go, 81 points, which is 3 points again ahead of the Coachella Valley Firebirds. And the Canucks continue to be tied with the Colorado Eagles. The Eagles have 2 games in hand on them. Canucks 31-21-2 with 3 shootout losses and 67 points. They have lost 3 in a row. One of them, of course, shootout. But that will be the news for today. You can follow us all individually on Twitter. Sean Beardy Canucks 03, Tyler TNOBLE, Christian Schneids SCHNEIDZ, Devin Gordhow 09. Well, we are scheduled to be back tomorrow to do a podcast talking some Flames, talking some Canucks, talking whatever else is going on in the National Hockey League. Also check out Fireside Chat as well. And their podcast on Monday. Of course, you can follow me, KEVOLE, Shifts and Pucks on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Subscribe wherever you get your audio, as well as on the Area 51 Sports Network. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We will talk to you all very soon. Bye for now.